course, there have been plenty memorable European nights at Anfield. That, however, Brian, didn't look like it was one of them.
No, not too many 0-0 draws at Anfield this year. One earlier against United, I remember, in the league. But tonight's game, it lacked any sense of tension, Tommy. It was over before it started with Liverpool at 5-0. Unless they conceded a couple of goals in the first half and became anxious and Porto got a bit of confidence, there was nothing going to happen. And that never looked likely. Porto were content to come out with a bit of honour, having lost 5-0 at home. And they'd probably feel that way. Great reaction by their crowd after match. It was almost like they won the tie, the way they celebrated at the end of the game. Beaten 5-0, like got out at 0-0 tonight at Anfield. Looked like they thought that was success. But Liverpool just played well within themselves. I think maybe their heads are on Saturday's challenge with Manchester United as well. It's
strange just that, and there was a little bit of celebrating from Klopp at the end, and savouring the occasion because it was such a nothing match. You forget that it's a massive achievement by Liverpool to get into the quarterfinals again.
Well, it is.
Was it 9 years?
Yeah, it is. They haven't been good enough for so many years. Now they look like a team that could challenge. They're obviously in third place in the league, but I do think they have a chance in this Champions League. They've dealt with some of the issues, may not have dealt with the goalkeeper thing satisfactorily. We don't know as yet. And he wasn't challenged tonight, but they've dealt with one of the other issues, the centre-back issue. They've improved in the left-back position in particular. Right-back position looks steady. Competition in midfield. A little bit up front without Coutinho. Not too much competition in the front position. But tonight they coasted through the match.
Midfield area is a bit of a talking point for them. Like, what's their best configuration there? Emre Can was a player who stood out for you tonight in midfield. Yeah,
I think he's done a good job all through the season. When Henderson was out injured, he was off and the one playing in the centre position. Henderson back in tonight. But he was, I've said there with a Milner, Henderson himself, he was the one tonight that looked like the match meant the most to him. Here you see him make a little run ahead of Firmino, drop short to pick it up in midfield. He waits. Now, this is an indication of the tempo of the match. There's no pressure on the ball. He can actually stand, wait on Gomez's run. Nice pass, Mane's attempt on goal. Now, that was one of two attempts on goal Liverpool had in the first half. But here he is again, backing up the play. He's protecting the centre halves if need be. Pass is not quite right. Here he's in again, aggressive, wins the challenge, good feet, gets pulled back there and the referee doesn't see it. Stays around for another pass. Here he's looking for position, looking for an angle to receive the pass again. Plays the knee pass on the inside and Lallana loses it, who unfortunately on the night didn't have a very good game for his first start in a long time. Here again, directing play, a little bit of disguise on the pass to Marino. This ends up with something where he might have got a penalty kick here going into the box. No great appeal. And that was typical of the match. Nobody got too excited about anything to happen. But you'll see Can comes back in to win the ball back for Liverpool with more aggression than many of the other players showed in the game. But it was just that type of match. Liverpool did enough not to concede. Porto hadn't got the quality.
They made 10 changes, didn't they?
Yeah, but some of their better players were back into the team. Andre, we saw him there. Seeing here's so good his name twice. He's there, and Abubakar was back in the team. Missed the match, and here we see ball through. One of the few other chances they had in the game, and Firmino didn't finish it. But you felt it was a league game. He may have finished it, and Can is the one getting back and forth again and breaking up the play.
His future is shrouded in doubt. He's obviously down to the last few months of his contract. Talk that he's got an agreement with Juventus, but we're not sure about it yet. Where do you see him fitting into the grander scheme of things?
Well, that's why I think it's interesting, because there isn't so much talk about. We heard it, like when there was talk about Sanchez leaving Arsenal. It was a point of discussion ongoing since the season started, and eventually he went. With Can, I think he's a key player in this Liverpool setup. And yet there doesn't seem to be a lot about it. There seems to be almost an acceptance that he's going to go on a free. I think he came in on a free.
Like he's been underrated almost.
Yeah, and as if there's not enough effort to keep him on, because I think he will be difficult enough to replace. I think you're going to have to pay in the current market maybe £30 million to get a player like him. He's 24, full of enthusiasm, and he can do several jobs. So I think he'll be a loss, and it'll cost them money to replace him if he walks away, which looks likely now.
I think I mentioned before the game that Liverpool were actually the Champions League top goal scorers coming into this game, which pretty much jinxed them tonight because they didn't score.
They 34, Tommy, in the game so
far. They had
a
handful of chances, you'd say, Brian.
Well, I'd say the least chances. They hadn't won on target in the first half. This is actually the first half. We saw this already. That's why we were scrapping to find something from the match. Highlights is a bit of an exaggeration, or even analysis is a bit of an exaggeration. Here Marino does well to rescue the situation, skips a wild challenge, ball back. Lallana, as I said, he hadn't a great influence on the game. Milner picks out a good pass. Mane takes it around Dalek, hits it early, finds the inside the post. I thought he should have stroked it into the corner of the net. Casillas didn't have to make a save. But that was the only other opportunity other than Mane's effort where he threw his right footer in the middle of the penalty area. Otherwise, it was very scratchy. Henderson's ball out here. A good run around by Lallana on the outside of Marino here. Gets across. Expect Milner to score. Just falls over. Typical of the night in many ways that he didn't make contact with it. But good by Henderson here. Nice little link-up play. And in you go, Firmino. Did well, Felipe, to get back on side. And he was one of the players, Brazilian centre-half from Porto, that you said he's a really good match, has potential maybe to play for a better team where everyone's looking for a centre-half.
So in search of the goal, they rolled on Salah, and Connor said in commentary immediately he looked like the best player on the pitch. Is that fair? Yeah,
he immediately injected a bit of life into the crowd and into the match and made some runs in behind the fence. Mane did all right in the match. But watch, this is his first touch of the ball in the game. Long ball from Lovren. Takes it down to there. There was a no and a nah in the crowd. Lost possession, but the attack stayed going. Henderson picks out the pass. Moreno up there, back across the goal. Nothing comes out of it. But straight away there was things happening that weren't happening. There was tempo to the attacks. There was an uncertainty about the Porto defence. Here he's looking for the pass again. Chan, one of those raking crossfield ones, gets onto it here again. Good control, waiting on the run, picks out the little cross for Milner, heads her into Casillas. Referee blocks off one of the Porto players here. Lovely little run in behind the fence. That hadn't been happening in the match up until then. And he gave a little display in the last 15-20 minutes of the game where everyone would have said, wouldn't it have been great if Salah was on the start, we might have got our money's worth. But they get the money's worth as the competition goes on with qualifying for the quarter-finals. Good little run around there, and Gomez couldn't put the bend on the ball as Salah did there. Really, Ings should have headed it down by the goalkeeper.
Just irresistible at the moment, isn't he?
32 goals, sensational stuff.
I'd like to get Graham and Neil's thoughts on this shortly, but just in terms of his pedigree, if you look at previous seasons, I think 15 goals for Roma last season, 14 in Serie A the season before. This is an outlier for him as a striker. Is this a case of Klopp improving him as a player? Is it the way Liverpool play, or is it just a streak of form that he's in, or will it be permanent for him? I
think it's a combination of those things, but I think his form at Roma, as you said, 29 goals in the last 2 seasons for Roma, playing on the wing. I mean, they were the stats I'm looking at, not a centre-forward, playing the wing. Now he's doing it from the wing and coming inside.
So he's getting into better positions with Liverpool,
and with a good team, and with a manager who really believes him, and he's found his own confidence. He's been sensational this year, close to being the player of the year. Maybe De Bruyne might edge it, but we'll see.
So Liverpool into the last 8 for the first time since 2009. Up after that, not as excitable as he can be after perhaps more important games, but it is a game that gets them into the quarter-finals. Then, Graham, are they a team that the big guns, the traditional big guns, will be looking at and saying we don't want to get them?
Yeah, definitely. You know, our league's regarded as an extremely competitive league, and they're doing very well in our league. And I don't think anyone will look forward to playing against them. You know, since the introduction of Van Dijk, I think they're far more solid at the back, and I think going forward they could cause any team problems.
What about what I was talking to Brian about there, about Salah and his season that he's having? Is he a player of permanent top level now? Has he made that move from what you've seen this year?
We don't know. I mean, I said to Neil an hour and a half ago, I said, do you think that Salah's surprised at his own form this year? I mean, because I didn't see that. I didn't see that. Was it Basel he was at originally, then Chelsea, then Roma? I didn't see any of that, but I mean, he's been incredible this year. I mean, truly incredible. I mean, he's, we're talking about Mane and Coutinho, and from the outset, he's been an absolute star at Liverpool. And the challenge for him is to do it again next year. But we'll have to wait and see. But he is the catalyst right now for most of their good work going forward.
Talk to us about the progression they've made then, Neil, since that night, earlier in the season when we covered them against Sevilla when they lost a 3-goal lead, and the improvement they've made.
To score 3 goals away in Sevilla is a difficult thing to do, and they made it look easy. But then the capitulation in the second half was symptomatic of the way it's gone under Klopp. Now, all of a sudden, well, not all of a sudden, the introduction of Van Dijk has been huge, I think. Obviously, you pay for quality. 75 million is a lot of money for a centre-half, but he could be the mainstay there and just what they needed. I think Robertson,
you had him at Celtic, Neil.
Yeah, he's outstanding.
Explain, has he always been that sort of...
He's an outstanding footballer.
He looks as if he talks a lot as well, doesn't he?
Yeah, he is. He's a leader. And he was very mature even at 21, 22 when I had him. And I knew after a week or so, I said to him, look, enjoy yourself here, you won't be here long. But it's been meteoric rise. The only thing I concerned is sometimes he got a little bit complacent. I don't see that now in his game. There's a maturity about him. He can do everything.
Does he point the finger in the dressing room?
Oh, yeah.
People?
He will dig people out. He covers the ground well. You see him every week, Graham. He can head the ball in both boxes. He brings the ball out. He's quick. I think Robertson at left back is going to be a mainstay there as well. So there's a good balance to the team now. But going forward, they're a dream. And now they're in the last 8. Why not? Why can't they win it? They could beat anybody on the day. You
guys were having a very interesting discussion off camera, so I just want to bring the viewers in on it. Is this Liverpool team better than Rafa Benitez's team in 2005? And that might seem like sacrilege to even say it, but man for man, and potentially, Brian, are they?
Well, but this team hasn't proved anything yet. Yeah, and the Liverpool team were 3-0 down at half time and they won it. We mightn't be having a discussion now if they hadn't
how they won that, when you look at that Milan team.
Yeah. Well, until they win, it's a bit like a sports situation at the moment. They haven't won any trophies.
I always like to do that. Pick a team from the 22 then at the start. From Liverpool's best 22 today, the 11 that started in Istanbul. Pick a team.
The Liverpool team now?
Yeah, pick 11 from the 22.
I'll tell you who'd be in it. Steven Gerrard.
Yeah, Van Dijk would be in it.
Kerr would be in it because he did the Kerr would be in it because
he could play alongside Van Dijk.
He'd definitely pick himself. Yeah.
Well, you wouldn't be in the end of it if you didn't pick him.
Salah, Firmino, did they go in?
See, this is the thing, I mean,
you'll be inundated by on Twitter now or whatever the social media.
Steven Gerrard would definitely play for me.
Yeah.
Build a team around him.
Goalkeeper.
But we were just having this discussion. This is the closest Liverpool have got for a number of years now. 9 years? They're back in the last 8. They've got the tradition. They've got the pedigree.
This is their year?
Maybe. I wouldn't write them off, I'm telling you. They score a volume of goals.
Over 2 legs, they're going to have a good chance against anyone. I mean, that's a great win, winning 5-0 away and making the second leg. Now, look at their matches that they've left in the league. They haven't the most difficult programme left yet. They have to play Manchester United, they have to play Everton, they have to play Chelsea. So all they need to do, I mean, they're not going to catch Manchester City, so they just need to stay in the top 4. And I think the rest of their games they should be able to manage. Should be able to take care of themselves and manage the squad.
They scored 4 against Man City at Anfield without Van Dijk. The game ended up 4-3, but it was never 4-3. Liverpool were far superior to Man City. If they can replicate that against Man City, against any other team, they will score goals. To go and score 5 against Porto takes some doing, no matter what stage Porto are in, because tactically Portuguese teams are very well set up, difficult to break down, and they made mincemeat of them.
And that's a good barroom discussion to say, who would get into the team from 05 and all that. But the point is that Benitez team, he knew how to set up a team in Europe and go and get.
He didn't in the first half in Istanbul.
No, but apart from that, but traditionally, he knew how to close out games and make games tight. And the point you were making earlier in the season that Liverpool, they need to stop leaking goals because everything else was good.
Listen, the manager still had to play a certain way. To play that way, it is all about trying to be on the front foot from the first minute to the 90th. You can't do that. No team can do that. We are playing the game when it turns. But when it turns, you've got to have players that can have a look at that and sense. It's like a sixth sense. You smell it. You can sense where the game's going.
Have they?
I think they have now, and I think Van Dijk would. I'm interested in what Neil said, about Van Dijk's personality, where he is verbal. I mean, I have to say, I've never met a shy Dutchman in my life.
Yeah.
I've never been involved in the football world with a shy Dutchman. Let's say, but I can say that because I've actually got Dutch relations, so I'm in the clear. But I'm pleased he's like that because that's what they needed.
Bags of personality.
That's what they needed. They needed someone that you see when the game's turning. What I'm talking about. Hold on a minute. Fullbacks, don't be drifting now. Centre midfield, don't go in front of the ball. Just someone that can direct them. And I didn't feel they had that before.
And we've offended any shy Dutch people terribly. Sorry.